thank you to everyone who pulled this rally together at the last minute. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Tom and I met for breakfast at his house the day after the election. And Kathleen Falk and Doug LaFollette joined the two of us, and we talked about how to win. Yes. And we talked about how to win in western Wisconsin.
Yes.
And this meeting today is a direct result of all of the work that all of us have been doing since February of 2011.
Yes. Yes.
From the Dunn County Democrats and from all of western Wisconsin have worked so hard in the real world and in the cyberspace world to help educate all of the people in western Wisconsin about what's really happening in Madison. And people want to know, but it's very hard to get information in western Wisconsin about what's happening. All of our work, all of our energy, all of our passion comes down to election day.
Yeah.
And we have in front of us, we hold in our hand victory. And we have the most mighty candidate right here with us in western Wisconsin. To be on the top of our state, who understands the problems, who understands the policies, who's got the experience on all levels of government to be able to solve things, to bring our state together, to create the kind of world in Wisconsin that we all know can happen. And I'm very, very blessed today to introduce my good friend, Tom Barrett.
Thank you, Kathleen, who has done a phenomenal job here in western Wisconsin, representing you. And we got to see each other up front and personal during the primary. And I can tell you, I have been so impressed. And she said to me after the campaign was finished, she said, you know, you're free to steal any of my stuff. But I was thinking before that, I'm going to steal all of her stuff. You know, there's a mutual admiration society here because she's so thoughtful, she's obviously very charismatic, she's determined, and she is so passionate in what she does, representing you in Madison. So again, let's give her a round of applause. So here we are, sports lovers, there's 13 days left to go. We've got a lot of work to do in the next 13 days, but I want to go back in time for a few minutes and just tell you why this is so important and why I am doing this for our state. And I want to stress, and I know Kathleen felt the same way, she was not doing it for herself, I'm not doing it for myself, I'm not doing it for my wife. We are doing this. We are doing this together. Because this started as a grassroots movement. We are doing this together to bring Wisconsin back to Wisconsin values.
Yes.
That is all about. And I look at this governor, and there's one little vignette that I'm going to describe that I think is going to tell the whole story. And I don't know how many of you saw this little video where he is talking to the woman who then gave him a lot of money. How many of you have seen this video? Okay, some people did, some of you haven't. So I'm going to walk through it.
Yeah.
Because he walks into this woman who owns this big corporation, and he greets her, and he gives her a kiss. And my wife was watching this with me, and my wife's first reaction was, I never want to see a video of you kissing another woman on the face. That was her first reaction. So then she launches into this discussion right away. What can we do to make this a red state? A right-to-work state. A right-to-work state, of course, is where you take away workers' rights all across the board, not just for public employees. Yeah. She says, can we do that? And he's, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says, and these little phrases are so telling. He says, the first step is we go after the public employees. employees.
Yeah.
The first step, which means if you're a private employee, if you work in a private union, or if you're a member of no union at all, and you're concerned about workers' rights, you better hold on to your hat, because this is the first step.
Yes.
He says the first step is we go after the public employees. Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
This is the governor of the great state of Wisconsin telling this woman that his strategy is to divide and conquer. And this came during the same period when he was talking to the other person he thought was a billionaire. Both times he's talking to billionaires. So if you want to know whether Scott Walker is telling the truth or not, it's is he talking to a billionaire? That's the question.
Yes,
Because he
it
said
is.
to the other person he thought was a billionaire,
Yeah.
he said, we're going to, these are his words, not my words,
Yeah.
his words, drop the bomb.
Yes.
So we have a governor of the great state of Wisconsin saying that he's going to drop the bomb and divide and conquer.
Yep.
He's going to pit people against each other. And he did it by pitting public employees against other public employees.
Yeah.
He did it by pitting public employees against private employees. And he's trying to do it where he wants to give you a reason to distrust you. Where he wants to give you a reason to hate you. How can we pit people against each other? You can see he's doing the same thing, quite honestly, as he tries to pit people against Milwaukee. And the only thing I want to say about this is, he talks about Milwaukee. What he never says is that for 7 of the 8 years that I've been mayor of the city of Milwaukee, the county executive of Milwaukee was Scott Walker. It was Scott Walker.
Yeah.
Good point.
And if you were going to measure unemployment in the time when he was county executive, unemployment under county executive Scott Walker in Milwaukee went up 34%. 34%. But I'll get back to jobs later. So let's go back to the video. So he says we're going to divide and conquer. And then he says we're going to use the bill, the budget adjustment bill, the crisis bill,
Yes.
to get this done. Now this to me is one of the most telling portions, because I think of history. I think of history of this country, and I think of great leaders. And in particular, I think of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and think about the fireside chats when he was talking to this nation and trying to bring this nation together at a time of crisis. A great leader tries to bring his people together at a time of crisis. And we have a governor who at a time of crisis wants to use that as an opportunity to divide the people. To divide the people at a time of crisis and pit people against each other so that they feel bad about each other. That's not the type of leader we need for this state. We have difficult issues in this state. There are difficult fiscal issues. We have to put more money into education. We have to put more money into healthcare. We have to make sure that our children and our grandchildren can be here and support their families. And he's trying to divide the state. But the story doesn't even end there. So that was 19 seconds. That's all it took. That he's going to the first step, which means there's more coming. He's going to go after the public employees, divide and conquer, and he tries to do that in a wide range of areas. And then third, to use a crisis opportunity to divide the state. But it doesn't end there, because 2 weeks later, the woman gives him $10,000, a $10,000 contribution. And about 2 weeks after that, she gives $25,000 to the Republican Governors Association, so they can run these commercials, which I affectionately refer to as 30-second drive-by shootings, saying what a miserable human being I am. And then, earlier this year, she gives him $500,000, the largest contribution ever to a gubernatorial candidate in the state of Wisconsin. And she gives him $500,000. And then we learn that her company, from 2005 to 2008, the most recent years, doesn't pay any taxes, doesn't pay any corporate taxes. So first of all, I want to thank whoever left the $500,000 check. It's a little over the limit. We're gonna have to work. But think about this. Think of who he's representing, who he's serving, who his master is. It's not the struggling small business owner who's paying taxes. It's not the teacher. It's not the nurse. It's not the farmer. It's the billionaire. It's the billionaire, the people he thinks are billionaires. And then you look at where the money comes from for this campaign. You have to ask yourself this. If you have a sitting governor who in his most recent report raised nearly 70% of his money from out-of-state contributions, who is his master?
Do you think for a second that that guy from Texas who gave a cool $500,000, do you think for a second that that guy cares about what's going on in Menomonie or Milwaukee or Medford or Muskego? He doesn't care. This is all part of the ideological movement, the right-wing Tea Party movement. That's what this is part of. He loves being the poster boy for the Tea Party movement in this country. And he has had a lot of success. A lot of success. He's become the rock star of the far right. As he's traveled around the country giving these speeches, talking about how successful he's been going after workers' rights. And he's raised a lot of money, millions and millions and millions of dollars by doing that. Well, I'm here to tell you this. I will never be the rock star of the far right.
Thank you.
But I'll also tell you this.
Thank you.
I will never be the rock star of the far left. And that may disappoint some of you. But what I want to be, and what I will be, is rock solid in working to create jobs in this state.